back. In this episode I'm going to focus a bit on Ed. I know I've done Elnor for quite a while, it's just because it's been in the garage and it's a bit warmer. It's been rubbish weather in Scotland, it usually is, you know, it doesn't matter what time of year it is, but this year's pretty bad, January, February. I don't mind working in the cold, I can bear that, but the rain, the snow, the wind, nah. So anyway, what I'm going to do in this one, I did notice a small leak coming from the thermostat gasket in Ed. Now there's two gaskets because it's got a sandwich plate on it. I replaced them only about 5 months ago and they were the paper gaskets and I wasn't very happy with them at the time. They just didn't feel very good. So basically they're being replaced because they were seeping. So in this video I'm going to replace the thermostat gaskets with cork gaskets and just get the thermostat out and cleaned up and back in. Thanks for all the new subscribers, hello. And thanks for all the people who have entered the giveaway so far. It's really brilliant. I've been laughing listening to the stories of the first cars and what's your most cherishable memory with them. So if you've not seen that video yet, I'll put a link in. Go and have a look at the giveaway. It's on until the 14th of February. And just a way of saying thank you for all the support. So yep, hopefully enjoy this video. We'll be getting a lot more done on Ed the better the weather gets and I can work outside. I've got a list of things I want to get done to him and I've also got a few ideas for videos as well. So yeah, stay tuned and let's get him in. It's raining, so what I'm going to do is get him in this space here. Lucky it's a Mini. Can't beat the smell of an old car. All these that work on Minis will know, it just smells like perfume. So see here, it's a fairly new gasket because I replaced the water system about 6 months ago and they're new gaskets, but you can see it's all ripped away. Look at that, that's rubbish. It was the paper gaskets I fitted and I'm not happy with them. The blue stuff you can see is the gasket sealant, so that seems to have made the paper worse. So because this is the SPI model, I've got two gaskets, one that goes actually on the top of the head between the sandwich plate and one that goes between the thermostat housing and the sandwich plate. So instead of just replacing them with this, I'm going to go with the cork ones. I think every time I try to do work with the garage door open, they decide to do something. And the last one was the bin lorry coming. This time they've decided to dig up broadband. Or it's the ice cream van. Maybe I should move somewhere nice and quiet in the country. But it is what it is. So let's get into Ed. You can actually hear the air escaping from here. I don't know if it was picked up on camera, but you can also see the water running out here. That's why that's getting changed. I'm going to get the top hose detached from the thermostat housing. We're going to undo that bolt, that bolt, that bolt, and we're going to lift this all off. my Bingley purchase is going to come in handy. You can see that's pretty brown in there, so I'm not very pleased with that given it's all been replaced. And the gasket's pretty nasty in there. It's like peeling away and bits are stuck on, so I'm going to need to get this off just to get it all cleaned up properly. And I think to do that I'm going to need to just get this out of the way. It's just one bolt, so yeah, I'm going to get that taken off out of the way. So much better access. And we're going to put that wee fella back on there. So see the brown liquid around here, I'm going to clean that up, but that shouldn't be that brown. I'm not happy that is that brown. And I'm going to need a sandwich plate off to clean it, but you can see the gasket. Look at this. Useless. Absolutely useless. So the sandwich plate is obviously attached to the top bracket of the radiator here. Bearing in mind not all minis have this sandwich plate. This is only the 1275 model with this extra engine steady bar. Plus the thermostats are slightly different with the way it's routed in the engine. So yeah, we're going to take this off and then we'll need to undo this hose here to get this sandwich plate free so we can give it a good clean. See, paid for itself already, this thing. Right, this will slide out once I've got this hose undone. Right, there we have it. Sandwich plate. I'm going to clean this up and basically get all the gasket scratched off the top of here and the bottom. You You see the water level sitting right to the top here. This was one of my random purchases on Amazon. Thinking I'll use that at some point. There we go. Means I'm not spilling it everywhere. See, the colour's actually not as bad as the residue it's leaving, but it's still, you can see the deposits around here. I'm not very happy with that. But that's given me a good bit to work with here. And I'm not having coolant splashing everywhere. Try and get most of this off by hand. Obviously I don't want to spill any in the cooling system. I think what I'm going to have to do with this residue is get some of the radiator flush and get it properly cleaned through. Like I say, I did run it before till it was clear, but it's still obviously pretty nasty inside, and the coolant is darker when it was replaced, so I'm going to need to look into that. Right, best bit for this bit here is just to get a small razor blade or a Stanley blade, just to get these bits off, and then give it a wire brush, because it needs to be smooth for the new gasket to sit on. If there's any bumps or anything, it'll just cause leaks. Till you think it's clean, just keep going. Take your time, there's no rush. Do it properly and it'll be there for a while. Right, now I just need to do the same with this. I'll clean up both of the edges, here and here, and give it a degrease, and then I'll come back to you. And I'm also going to do the same with this, give it a good clean out. So here we are, cleaned it all up. You can see the surfaces, perfect. Surfaces, perfect. I've cleaned the inside as well. Thermostat's been cleaned up. This was a new thermostat. It's only done about 200 miles, so I'm not replacing it. But, you know, they're only cheap anyway. You can see there it's the 88 degrees one. You can get different ones depending on different climates, different seasons. I'm not going to go over that because you can read up on that online. There's plenty of information on that. And I've given the bolts a clean up as well. So it's just a case of getting this all back on with the new gaskets back to the car. Right, let's get all this back on. So the new gaskets, cork. Hopefully these ones will be better than what came off. So make sure they're lined up perfectly. When everything goes on top of this and it's torqued down, it squashes it into place, so you know, once it's in, it can't move. So again, it's just reverse of what we've already done. Make sure these hoses are on tight. There's so many places on this that water can leak out if one thing isn't tightened up. And remember, it's a pressurised system once it's on, so the water's, you know, it's going through a a good speed. Right, so for this gasket I'm just going to put a little bit of sealant on. Basically, just a very fine layer. I think I put too much on last time. And what this is going to do is help hold it in place while all the other layers are piled on top. So it just helps it stick a bit better, because if it moves about too much when you're putting the other layers on, there's a chance that the bolt, when it goes on, can then go through the gasket and break bits of the gasket, and that defeats the whole purpose of the gasket. It does get fiddly working in spaces, but that's the Mini. That's like every job on the Mini, and you just have to have patience, take your time, and get used to banging your head off the bonnet at least 4 or 5 times. There we go. I'm not concerned about it covering the whole bit. I'm only concerned about it being able to hold it in place, because when you crush it down to the right torque setting, it crushes into the gasket and seals it anyway. Second gasket goes on top. Thermostat sits in. Thermostat goes in. If you put that in first, because it sits on this ridge here, and then this sits on top, and it sticks to gloves and drives you crazy. Right. I'm going to get this back on here. So I'm going to tighten that bolt, but the problem is this is not fixed down yet, so I'm just going to put this in hand tight. I'm going to learn from experience. Because if I tighten this and it pulls this, it's going to knock it all offline. So that's fine, I can tighten that now, it's not going to move. Again, it's just a little top tip. You can learn from my mistakes, learn from your own mistakes, but it's always better watching someone make mistakes than doing it yourself. So, that's tight enough. It's only the bracket to hold it in place. While I've got this locked in place, I'm going to tighten up the hose at the back there. Right, so that's tightened. Just need to get the thermostat housing back on. I did paint this before, but as you can see, it's a working car, and the paint I use is obviously crap. So when I go through this, when I've got more time and when my arm's a bit more up to it, I'm gonna get it all looking in a great condition. You know, I've got all bits to touch up. I've got so many plans for it, so many things to do with this, with other cars as well. So I get this back on. just remember that the engine steady bar on this one has to go back on as well. It goes underneath the bolts. So, I mean, it is fiddly trying to get all this done without knocking the alignment off, but patience. So another wee top tip, you don't want these things snapping off, so I'm going to put some copper grease on them to keep them from seizing when they're deep in the head here. You'll be thankful for it in years to come when you take them out again. So when you've got them all lined up and the gaskets all sitting perfect, they just need tightened up. Make sure you're catching the thread on them. It'll just take maybe a bit of wiggling to get all this tightened down. Torque setting for these is 11 Newton meters. Not very much at all. There we go, 1, 2, 3. So that's it torqued up to the right setting. Last couple of things. So we just need to top up the coolant system because obviously we lost some water coolant when we were doing that. Top it up, start the engine and watch for leaks, and that's how you change a thermostat and thermostat gaskets. Right, so I've topped up the water. I'm going to just start the engine with the cap off just to let any air bubble out, so to bleed the system. Do that for a short time and then we can get the cap back on and we'll check for leaks. After a couple of days, you always, when you've been doing the water, just check the level in case anything's dropped and keep an eye out for leaks. But other than that, that's it done. So let's get this engine started and get the air bled. So there we are, that's us up to temperature. It's been running for maybe 15-20 minutes. Just need to keep checking for leaks the next couple of days, which I will. You can see it's flowing dry. There is going to be some leaks down here, obviously, where I spilt the water before, and you can see that's what that is. So it's not ideal doing it in the wet, but we just need to keep an eye on these things. So I'm happy with that just now. Switch it off there and I'll keep an eye on the level and for leaks the next few days. Thanks for watching. It always takes twice as long when I'm filming to do things, but as I said before, I enjoy it and hopefully you guys get something from it. Fingers crossed there's not going to be any leaks. If there is leaks, deal with it. It's a classic car, it happens. So I'll be keeping an eye on it when I'm driving it and topping it up. So yep, keep the comments coming, keep the likes coming, and if you've not already, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video. Cheers.